She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detail Therapy. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing my top 20 favorite online tools, apps, websites, etc. All those fun things that I use basically on a daily basis for things like personal development, efficiency, business, and overall happiness. This is going to be a fun one. There's a lot I want to share with you today, but if you're new to the show, my name is Amy Landino, and I will be your host. I'm a YouTube creator, professional speaker, best-selling author, and entrepreneur. I'm here to help you go after the life that you want. You can find out more details about me by visiting youtube.com/AMYTV. Well, I have to say, it's great to be back in the office. I feel like I say that all the time because I'm a traveler by nature, by business, by all the things. But I have been gone now for a month and a half. I've been on vacation. I've talked to you about this in the past. You've been listening to a lot of great podcasts that I've prepared far in advance. I hope you've been enjoying them. I've been seeing some great comments on the Instagram at Details Podcast and on Twitter at Details Podcast of what you thought of these episodes. So fun to see how much you guys loved some of these people. I mean, we've had Lindsay talking to us about skin. Ryan came on talking about eyebrows. Sandy was so amazing when she was talking about, like visualization, the law of attraction, things like that. And of course, things like the Gretchen Rubin chat. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's been so long since that's gone out. But yeah, that came out my birthday week and that was a long time ago. But what a super fun chat that was. My gosh, that was just like iconic. That was a pillar moment for this show. So just such great feedback. I'm very happy that you're enjoying this just as much as I am because I really, really make a solid attempt to move my butt, to get to the places, to talk to the people who are going to bring it for you, but also help me have a little bit of fun. So I'm glad that this is all just gelling beautifully. This is actually kind of weird right now because there's not a lot of content I am creating at the moment. I'm mostly writing. If you're in Shine Squad, if you go to patreon.com/AMYTV, you can find Shine Squad. If you're in Shine Squad, I've been writing to you quite a bit, but mostly what I'm doing is, Instagram caption microblogging and writing to Shine Squad and a little bit of blogging, which hasn't quite gone out yet, but I've been mostly writing, and that's been helping me prep for my second book, which I'm getting ready to start writing now that I'm back from vacation. And I'm not recording any videos this summer. They are all done. They have all gone out. Actually, super fun story. The video that went out on Sunday was called I'm Leaving for 3 months. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a fun title considering we're halfway through that 3 months. It's going to kind of show up on people's phones and notifications and go, boom, wait, another 3 months you're leaving? Kind of confused people. Really grabbed some attention. Pro tip there. And maybe was a little bit deceiving. So I was questioning it a little bit. But people kind of found it funny anyway. It was basically a video of me time batching, getting all this content done before I left for this kind of crazy summer that I have on deck and is currently happening. So anyway, I'm not making a lot of stuff at the moment. I'm certainly not sitting down in front of the camera. I am happily in my house robe with no makeup on and my hair in a bun as I record this, and I have no problem telling you that. In other fun news, I am kind of in the work routine for about a week because I'm speaking this week. Fortunately, I don't have to leave home to do that. I'm speaking, if you are in Columbus and you're listening to this, literally tomorrow, the day after this podcast goes out, I'm speaking at the Sky Sprout Summit downtown Wednesday, July 17th at 1 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency. So if you're listening to this and you're in Columbus, you could literally still come. You should definitely check that out. The link will be in the show notes. I know it's last minute notice, but Yeah. And hopefully you already got your ticket because today is an amazing day at the event as well. Gary Vaynerchuk is closing keynote for the day. And I think he has some of his team speaking as well. So it's really cool to get the perspective of people that are pumping up one of the biggest names in business. That's why I've had people like Tyler Schmidt on the show. If you haven't heard that episode, he is in charge of Gary V's life. So getting that perspective is so great and so important to get into immersive environments. Going to events, educating yourself is so big. So if you're in business, if you're freelancing, if you're thinking about a side hustle, if you're thinking about any of that kind of thing, this might be a great event for you. Again, super last minute, but go check it out. I've got a lot of apps and online tools to talk to you about today, but before we dive in, I want to let you know that our beautiful friends at Four Sigmatic have partnered with us for this episode of Detail Therapy again. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring. I don't know if you like mushrooms. I don't, and trust me, I had a lot of encounters with the mushrooms while I was in Italy. But you know what? For some reason, everything I don't like tastes better in Italy. There's not one single bad meal that I had. So now I'm starting to really assess my relationship with mushrooms because I didn't like them before. And now I'm wondering if I like them now because it just turns out maybe you just can't get a good mushroom in the Midwest. I don't know. But one mushroom I know I can always get that will taste good in the Midwest is from Four Sigmatic. Four Sigmatic is a superfood company founded by a group of Finnish fun guys. Get it? They are aiming to popularize functional mushrooms and adaptogens by incorporating them into products like coffee, tea, and cacao. So basically, here's what's going on. Even though they get a lot of flack for being less tasty to some people like me, mushrooms and adaptogens are some of the world's most nutritious foods. So Four Sigmatic is trying to make it easy for you to get the benefits without sacrificing anything else. So what I like to do is this. I order the coffee with lion's mane and chaga. This is fantastic because I'm getting those nutritional benefits while also getting my coffee, which we all know the coffee is vital. Oh my gosh, you remember the time I quit coffee last year for like way too long? What was I thinking? That was crazy. The bonus in this coffee, which is the lion's mane and chaga, help you with productivity, focus, and creativity, which of course are our favorite things around here. So it is the ideal drink to kick off your work day. There's a lot of other great options. I highly recommend you check out the site because if you're thinking, okay, I want to choose something based on what the benefits will be or what the taste is or if it's caffeinated or if it's Whole30 compliant, you can literally limit your search there to find the right match for you. And it may not be a coffee. It may be something like the Cordyceps Mushroom Elixir Mix, which is another one that I really like. If I'm not having coffee, it's a great pre-workout, something you can put into hot water or a tea or something like that. So something like that boosts your energy and is amazing for before you're about to do a workout, which I'm going to be talking about workout apps and stuff like that later on. So go and check out Four Sigmatic. If you go to foursigmatic.com/detail therapy, you will receive an additional 15% off of your order. That's Four Sigmatic, FOURSIGMATIC.com/detail therapy to get that discount. You got to check it out. Make sure you get the coffee. It's really good. Okay, let's get into it. These are my 20 favorite online tools and apps that I use basically every day. There's going to be some oldies but goodies in here. There's also going to be some you maybe have never heard of, and that is what I'm hoping for because that is what the details are all about. I am very impressed with my energy level right now, partially because of my Four Sigmatic coffee, partially because I was just very jet lagged this weekend and suddenly I am bouncing back. So maybe I'm about to crash after this. Who knows? You get to reap the benefits. For this first couple of apps, this is sort of my productivity efficiency center. And because we talk a lot about this, I'm trying to diversify this list. I'm not going to list off 20 things or 5 things even that are efficiency. You guys know a lot of them if you've been hanging out with me for a while, but I want to list the most important ones. The first one is Trello. Trello I use both on desktop in a website and as an app on my phone. This is a vitally important project management website that my assistant and I use, my contractors and I use. We collaborate in this space. You know, I get a lot of fun graphics made for Instagram. A designer helps me with some of those. And so I have to be able to communicate with her and say, hey, let's make a change here. Let's change this. Let's do that. And so that is where we talk. When I am scheduling things with Meg talks to me in Trello about scheduling things. Sometimes we move to like a Slack for more real-time conversation, but I am a forgetful human. And I know this, and I respect it, and I lean into it. And every time somebody brings me something and I know I need to follow up on it and I need to keep track of it, I always ask that it goes to Trello. So somehow Meg has to have her eyes on it so she can put it there. Or if she just asks me a question in Slack and I know it's going to be something that's a little bit more effort, a little bit more follow-up, I ask her to move it over to Trello, and we keep track of everything there. My favorite thing about Trello is that how I treat my email. You know how there's people who just compulsively delete emails? I am not one of those people. I don't know why, but I want to make sure I have every email for the last 15 years. And I kind of do. And the reason is because, Gmail came out with the archive button when they created Gmail. And I was like, this is amazing. Trello also has that archive button. A lot of times you don't want to delete the things you're working on just because they're done. So archiving everything and being able to search and go back and see what you did and what were the results and what was the conversation around it, and just remind yourself of that or find templates for things is why I love archiving. And also it keeps the space clean. You can archive something and you're not going to lose it. So the collaborative nature, the archiving, the categorization, the boards, the cards, everything about Trello is really, really useful. It's very visual, and we love it as a team. I've also recently discovered Things. Things is an app on my phone. I believe it is also an app for desktop. I think it's also a website. I haven't been using it in that sense at all. I only use it on my phone. And I just found that this was a really visually pleasing sort of task manager, but I'm not using it as a task manager. I'm using it more as like a place to collect my ideas and thoughts. So while I was in Italy, we were doing kind of fun things like, hey, what's been your favorite city so far? What's been your least favorite city so far? So I was keeping everyone's rankings in there. But I was also trying to keep track of everywhere we went and putting them in order, because I've been trying to share them on Instagram. I've been sharing sort of recaps of each city, and I didn't want to lose track of anything. And I just thought, okay, here are the cities I have left to track. So every time I did one, I would check it off and it would get archived. So again, another sort of like idea capture place, but you can also break things out into sections. I really don't do well with to-do list apps that are just a list, just a straight up list of absolutely everything. I know it makes sense because you can brain dump that way, but that's what I use a bullet journal for. So it's kind of all over the place. I just found Things to be a good place that I could still categorize, still move things into sections, but be able to keep track of things as they pop into my head. So Things is a fun app if you're looking for sort of a task manager idea capture place. The third app, of course, and the last for this whole productivity efficiency thing, is Google Calendar. I mean, I live in this app. Maybe on vacation I was in it a lot less, but Google Calendar is my desktop life. It is my app life. It is my life. It is one of the few apps that is allowed to send me a notification on my phone. I have most notifications turned off. I need to know when I need to be somewhere. I need to know if I need to be on a call in 10 minutes. I need to know how much time I have left allocated for this task. So Google Calendar is a lifesaver. And it's just intuitive. Even for Apple users, it's very intuitive, especially when you have other Google apps on your phone, like Google Maps. If there's something in my calendar and I have to be somewhere, I can just tap on that address. It's going to take me over to a map, and that's really useful. So some pretty obvious ones here, but I could not list them, like really important. This next section is more mindset wellness. The first one is for 5-minute journal. If you follow me on Instagram, because apparently I'm sharing my entire life on Instagram, who isn't? I love 5-minute journal. And for a while, I have obviously been writing in the actual, analog book 5-minute journal that I have in my office. Somebody in my community actually sent it to me, bought it for me because it was the pink one. It was special, and they only sold it at like Urban Outfitters or something. And I love it. But there's just something about the app that obviously I couldn't bring the journal with me on vacation. That was an unnecessary book to bring. And I just love how quick and easy it is in the app. And I love that you can upload a photo to kind of like show what happened that day. And so every day sort of has this visual visual synopsis. And it also gives you this really fun quote or challenge at the beginning, which I've been sharing a lot on my Instagram, as I mentioned. So it's just overall good vibes. It's another one that I do allow to send notifications to my phone because I want the reminder to do the journal entry in the morning and to do the journal entry at night. It's 5 minutes or less really for the whole day. It's like literally 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night. So love the 5-minute journal app. Another app is called Elevate. I have been trying to use Elevate every day, and it really helps you keep track of like, are you actually using it every day? It lets you know when you go on streaks. But the point of this app, and credit to my husband for telling me about it, is that it's basically sort of a brain teasing and problem solving app. But my God, the graphics, the visualness of this app, it is stunning. It is so stunning. Every game, every challenge, every reading exercise feels so much easier because you are looking at an app that very clearly was well designed. I know that sounds weird, but I have used brain teasing apps before and I didn't stick with them. And Elevate is just sexy. It is just sexy. It gives you, I think, 5 different types of challenges a day. So it could be like division, and then you're doing sort of like a reading challenge to see if you understood what the reading passage was. It kind of feels elementary or kind of like you're planning to take the SATs, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Some of these things, some of these cogs in the brain, you don't use enough. And I love this app for that. So Elevate, I know there's a lot of other options for this, but this is the one that has stuck for me. In this next little section, I want to talk about apps that have been good for making connections. So it's very important to have a contact management service. And I feel like I don't talk about this enough. Sure, you can just use the contact list in your phone. You can use the contact list in your email. But I believe in having something that's a little bit more workable, something you can make notes in, something you can make just more tasks in. And that's why I use Nimble. I really like Nimble. Nimble is on my phone. It is also a desktop website, obviously website. And it's great because it helps you keep track of people. It keeps track of their contact information, but it also tracks their social media. And so I'm really enjoying it. And this is something I'm becoming a lot more passionate about. And I want to hear what you think about this. Networking is like this dirty word, and that sucks because you need to know people to go places in life. And I'm an introvert who works from home and I literally don't get out much, but I know a lot of people. And it partially comes from doing work and getting out every once in a while and going into immersive environments like a conference and meeting people. But it also has to do with meeting cool people online and following up with them and creating real meaningful relationships with them. And so keeping track of those contacts is very important. You know, it came in very handy for my first book. I just did as much as I could to meet new people, help them in any way that I could whenever they needed it. If they asked me, I would introduce them to people or whatever. I could make it happen. Even if it was like, who am I? Like, I'm a nobody. I just did anything I could to help so that when something big happened, I could go to that same group of people and go, hey, just so you know, I have a book out. I don't know if it would be a good fit for you or if it's a good fit for you to share with your community, but I just want you to know about it. Tracking your network for moments like that is huge. Tracking your network and helping people so that maybe when you're out of a job and suddenly you need help finding a new job is so important. You don't want to be going and networking when you need it. You want to be networking when you don't need it, when you can just be helpful and not feel like you have to have some ulterior motive. People will want to help you when a life change happens for you or when some big moment happens for you. So apps like Nimble have been very helpful for me, keeping track of all that stuff. Another one, and this is going to be a problem I created for myself, but maybe it's relatable for you. This app is called HIP, H-I-P, and I believe it's a hippo. Yeah, well, that would make sense. It's a hippo on the front of the app. I don't know if it's on more than iPhone, but here's what it is. The HIP app allows you to keep track of birthdays and anniversaries for people. Now, why would you do that, Amy? That's what Facebook is for. I feel you, but I have not really been keeping up with Facebook. And even when I am, there are so many friends that we have accumulated over so many years. I don't need to know all of their birthdays. I only need to know some birthdays. But even more importantly, for the important people, I do not want to know that it's their birthday on their birthday. I want to know it's their birthday like a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance, a day in advance, depending on their level of importance. If it's my mom, I need the notification a month in advance, right, Mom? If it is an acquaintance I met that I would like to see the relationship grow at some point, maybe they can make connections. Great, their birthday is a week from now. Can I do something a little bit more special? Can I send a handwritten note in the mail? You can't do that on the day of, okay? So this is really important. Also, just sidebar, if you were thinking about sending an email to somebody because you thought a long, thoughtful email would be exactly the thing somebody wants for their birthday, it is not the thing they want for their birthday. Even if they know you really well, they would probably rather get a phone call, okay? Pick up the phone and call, because if you write an email, and I actually have no idea if anyone wrote me an email because it's like, I have not been checking. I did literally email bankruptcy for this vacation because everyone got the response email saying I was out for the summer. So I just did email bankruptcy. When I came back, I marked everything as read. And so there's probably some emails that I left. If you sent me a birthday email, I'm very sorry. This is not a thing I enjoy on a daily basis, so it is certainly not a birthday gift. So it's stuff like that. If it's someone that means something to you, you should have the notification in advance if you want to do something special. You don't have to spend money to do something special. You can do something little. Maybe you have stationery in your office and you can send them a note handwritten. Because you got more than 5 days notice, it'll get to them, whatever the case may be, right? So this is why I like HIP. Is it a manual situation because Facebook isn't curating everything for me? Yes. But what is good about it is I get to handpick the people and they allow you to categorize the type of person. So if you want to put, mom, sister, brother, dad, husband, blah, 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 into the very important birthday list or special occasion list, you can mark that list as people you will get a notification 1 month in advance about. And then you can put people at the 2-week level, and then you can put people at a 1-day level. It's really useful so that you're not getting notified about someone's birthday that's kind of irrelevant, and you're getting more than enough notice, and you can get multiple notifications about somebody when it matters the most. So I'm kind of obsessed with this. I think this is the most underestimated thing that you can do. Even if somebody doesn't care about their birthday that much, everyone says that. They kind of care about it, okay? Maybe they don't, but you could still show a little bit of thoughtfulness. You don't have to go over the top. You don't have to order them a singing telegram. You could just do a little something to let them know you're thinking about them. If you had a little bit more notice, if you put a little bit more thought into it, and then you go into your Nimble and then you notate that you did it, and you can feel really good about the fact that you had that touch point with that person. You're keeping the relationship fresh. And even if it was just the phone call or the phone call the night before saying, hey, I know tomorrow's your birthday and I know you're going to get hit up. You're going to wake up to like 80 text messages from people who are like texting you while they're driving to work because they think that's thoughtful for your birthday. It's fine if they do, but I wanted to call and I just wanted to hit it before the madness and let you know I care. Okay, I'm clearly very passionate about this, but we need to move on. This next kind of larger section is for the content creators out there. This is focus on design. So the first one I want to read off is Canva. Canva.com is a fantastic app. I mostly use it on desktop. This is where I design all of my graphics for detail therapy and a lot of other things. There's some things that I hire a designer for that I don't want to spend time on because I know I suck at it. There's other things that I just have templates for, and it's very easy. And Canva gives you so many templates. It's just a great place to be if you are bootstrapping design. So definitely check out Canva if you have not been paying attention for the last number of years and you've been hiding under a rock. Canva is fantastic. The next app is kind of rogue. It's for those of us who love no makeup days, but still need to post on Instagram sometimes. And that is B612. I don't know if this is like the best kept secret in the influencer world and why everybody's looking flawless, because it's not always Snapchat, and I can tell. You know how you use Snapchat and you download it and you upload it to Instagram so you look a little bit different? I feel you. That's what B612 will do. B612 is a little bit scary because it's like you can really alter your face, but it's mostly great because it's like you can just kind of smooth everything out and hopefully not do more than that because you are beautiful no matter what you think. But sometimes we just don't need to see every crevice on the face. I mean, like, let's just be honest. Everyone's doing it. We just need to get our point out there, and we don't need the sidebar in someone's brain that maybe we should have put on a little bit of concealer. I don't need you thinking that when I'm trying to tell you something else that's much more important. So I learned about B612, and what I also like about it is it's just so much lighter. It's so much brighter in general. The camera bumps it up on the exposure, which I think is what helps pretty much everything. So even if you're not filming your face, it kind of makes your environment look even better. So check that app out. It is B612. The next app I know people are going to start asking me about because I've been using it a lot on my Instagram stories for videos is, you've got apps to make your photos look good, but if you have a video that you took and you want it to feel a little bit more edited, a little bit more environment or atmosphere-like, I guess I should say, I found an app through an ad and it's called Prequel, Prequel, and I'm completely obsessed with it. And I'm completely obsessed with it. Like, I'm adding these crazy, like, different filters and different lenses to my videos to make them look like super nostalgic or to make them look very color coordinated based on what city it's in. You can literally choose Santorini or Toscana as filters for your video. And that was really useful for me because those are bright colors and they make my atmosphere photos of Italy atmosphere videos of Italy look even more amazing, making the sky a little bit bluer and the greens a little bit greener. It's just so incredible. I think it does. Again, I'm not going to go over costs for some of these are going to cost money, you guys. Like, that's just where we're at in the world. They charge you for a great app. You get to keep it forever. It's fantastic. But Prequel, I think it did cost something, and then there might have been some in-app upgrades for certain ones, but I haven't upgraded to any additional filters. I think I paid for it when I downloaded it, and it is absolutely worth it. If you are a creator, this is worth it. The next app is Lightroom. Lightroom is an Adobe product. I pay for the Adobe suite, so keep that in mind. I have access to Lightroom because I'm an Adobe customer. And so Lightroom is just where it's at. If you have seen anyone advertising that they sell their presets and that you want your photos to look similar to theirs, it is likely a Lightroom preset. So getting an understanding of how to use the Lightroom app and maybe even buying those presets so you don't have to do a lot of extra work is awesome. And do you guys remember when we used to use Instagram filters? I was looking at that the other day and I was like, oh my God, they still have Instagram filters because some people probably still use Instagram filters. Like, I'm using 80 other apps, but you can use anything that looks good to you. And these are the ones that I enjoy. Lightroom is a little bit of a spaceship to learn how to use, but you have so much capability because it gives you you can like turn off the reds in your photo if you want to turn off the reds or turn off the blues or turn off the yellows. You have to be careful because sometimes it can make a human look kind of funky. But the amount of creativity you have in your hand with this app is very professional level. And that's why those presets have to be in an app like this, because you have to really create them on a professional level for somebody at a basic level to be able to use them. So Lightroom is useful if you plan on buying anyone's presets, because that is very likely where you will have to use it. The next one I just have to say it, and you're going to be like, Amy, what a cop-out, but it's a favorite, so I have to say it. Instagram Stories on its own, just Instagram Stories, not Instagram posts, not Instagram TV, not the other Instagram whatevers. Instagram Stories is my favorite place to hang out, both to watch people and to create and share stories and share design and share calls to action. I absolutely love Instagram Stories. It is my vice. It is the thing where if I don't take my phone away, if I don't focus on work, I will hang out there for a little bit too long. You probably know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to go into this one any further. The next app I want to share is Planoly. I pay for Planoly because it helps me to schedule posts on my Instagram feed. You can also schedule stories. That's not something I'm really in the habit of doing. I do those pretty real time, but I schedule my Instagram posts so that I make sure I keep up with those as much as possible. And Planoly has been far and away my favorite tool to do this with. It has the ability to post automatically, which for a long time you weren't allowed to do. So it kind of makes me a little worried, but Planoly does notify my phone when I have scheduled a post to go out so that I can just go ahead and manually post it myself. You can automatically post with Planoly. I believe you have to have a business account for that. You have to have a business Instagram account. But I really love Planoly for scheduling because it's just nice to see everything visually. You can look at all your photos as they are coming up, what the feed is going to look like. And if you're into that kind of thing, it's very useful. Also, it's just a great accountability partner. If you have time to work on your Instagram one day a week and you schedule out the entire week, Planoly is a fantastic tool for that. Another app I like, and this one is going to be very, very niche because I believe you have to hit a certain threshold somewhere on the internet in order to have the ability to apply for this program. The app is called Reward Style. Reward Style is what allows me to curate links to clothes, accessories, or really anything that I'm wearing or putting in an Instagram photo or really anything. And I can link to something and help make an affiliate commission with Reward Style. Now, I will say that I could not get approved for Reward Style until I was above 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but that was something that I could use both on YouTube and on Instagram. Once you have access to it, you can use the affiliate links anywhere. But you basically upload your photo there and you start to pull in. You have to search for the items that you shopped for, that you're wearing in the photo, or the things that you have in the photo. So you kind of create this little collection on a photo by photo or, video by video basis. And you would be more familiar with this if you've ever looked at Like to Know It. Like to Know It is the consumer side of this. So Like to Know It is where you would shop somebody's Reward Style curation. I'm not 100% sure when they start approving people, but that's just what it was for me. And I know that when I applied prior to that, they made me wait 30 to 60 days or something to reapply again. And it wasn't until I hit 100,000 that they approved me very quickly. I don't know if it's the same threshold for Instagram. It may not be as high on Instagram. I'm, again, not sure. But if you want to try to apply for Reward Style and maybe make a little bit of a commission on some of the things you're already buying that you can find here and then share with your community, highly recommend it. Just keep in mind, again, it's for a very specific line of community that has X number of followers, because companies like this think that that's the holy grail and they're really wrong. And unfortunately, that's just where we're at. I hope they've changed their policy since then, but very useful for helping people see the things that I have been trying. I'm going to throw a quick travel one in there. I don't want to throw a bunch of travel ones in there, although bonus to Google Translate. Yeah, that's the honorable mention of this episode because that was useful in Italy, but that's not the one I was going to tell you. My favorite travel app of all time is TripIt. I love TripIt. It's great to have on your phone when you're traveling. You get notifications if your flight is delayed, if your gate changed, what gate you need to go to on a layover, everything. And it's all because when you send your itinerary to your TripIt account, so let's say you bought your airline ticket, you send it to your TripIt account, everyone kind of links up their email with their TripIt, and you just forward the email to the same email address every time, plans@tripit.com. I know it by heart. It sends over there, and then it automatically imports all of the itinerary information into an itinerary in TripIt and just helps you keep track of your trip. It is so useful, and it's great to be able to look at one app and see everything, your flight, your hotel, your car, your everything can be in there if you want it to be. And it also keeps track of all the places you've been and all the miles you've traveled all over the world, which is really fun for, gamification and self-gratification. Next are some fitness and health apps I want to share. And so the first one is Peloton. This one is so good. So basically, here's what I did. I kept thinking to myself, okay, Tim Ferriss, yes, I do want to buy the Peloton bike. Thank you for telling me 80 million times in an ad on your show, which, by the way, great show, great ads, really appreciate you. But I don't have room for a Peloton bike. And I also do not need to spend money on a Peloton bike. It's just first world, really. Do you need the spin bike? you barely have enough room for a home office, Amy. Let's get it real. So I thought, how do you make the most of, okay, maybe someday you can get that bike, Amy. Maybe that would be a good decision down the line when you have more space. But how do you even know you're going to like it? And that is why I love that they're doing all of their trainings on an app. So I have the Peloton app on my phone and on my iPad, and you can take the classes. We actually have spin bikes in my apartment building. So I can take the Peloton app, watch a spin class on a different spin bike, and still take a Peloton class without having the Peloton bike. So that's one thing. Haven't done that yet. Big talker. Didn't do that. What I did do was take their yoga classes, and they're amazing. I love their yoga classes. I totally feel this is very New York. I'm realizing that the US has a very specific kind of yoga, and it is a little ADD, and we are moving quickly. And apparently this is not what real yoga is, but I love it. I love down dog. I love all the things. Peloton yoga is ADD, like New York City fast yoga. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just the guy that I've subscribed to, but I'm so into it. It's both calming and focusing. I am constantly moving, and it feels good. And especially somebody that's coming off a jet lag, it just feels amazing. So big shout out to Peloton. Kind of new for me, but if you're thinking about buying one of their products, I highly recommend you check their app first. Make sure you want to sign up for the $20 a month that it costs to be a part of the program, in addition to the fact that you would have to buy the product. But you can also just use the app. And so I absolutely love what they're doing, and I wanted to share it with you. Next is MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is an app I'm using for food tracking. Do you remember in the Gretchen Rubin episode when I talked about the fact that I really struggle with food tracking because of the tightening issue that upholders have? Well, that's still a thing, but I'm trying to work through it because I know that documenting my food is very good for me. It'll make me healthier. It'll make me more conscious of what I'm eating. And somebody who just came home from Italy definitely needs to do that. And so I am using MyFitnessPal for that. It's really great for tracking. It's great for looking at your nutrition, kind of seeing where your macros are. If you're a nerd like that and care about that kind of thing, I'm just learning about it. So the biggest thing here is I'm practicing tracking and not getting frustrated when I don't have the exact right thing in there, because it's still good for you from a healthy level to see what you've been eating, where it's going, what it's really doing to you, so that you take that glass of wine a little bit more seriously next time. So there's no app better than MyFitnessPal, in my opinion. It's also great because it's a website. So if you happen to be sitting at your computer and you're like, oh man, I forgot to log lunch, you can just punch it in really quick. I love doing things on desktop I don't have to do with my thumbs on my phone. So even Planoly, which I talked about earlier, I'll schedule the photo and I'll put it in Planoly, but I will actually probably type the caption on the computer because Planoly has a website as well. So a lot of those things that it's like, I'm faster, I'm better with a normal size keyboard because my fingers are apparently getting very fat every time the phones increase in size. Those are things I like to take advantage of. So MyFitnessPal allows that as well. Finally, for fitness, if you are an intermittent faster, you will love Zero. I use Zero as my timer for tracking my fasts. So I'm not fasting a lot. Obviously, I haven't been fasting in Italy, and lately I'm just trying to eat healthy. I'm not trying to pull back on when I eat, but it's really something that's been useful to me if I'm not necessarily following a certain diet at a time. One thing I will do is just not eat outside of the hours of 11 to 7. And overall, because you're giving your body time to break down whatever you've been eating, it's very useful. So Zero allows me to track that. So when I'm done eating for the day, I'll just start the fast. And then I know I can't eat until the next day. I get a notification from Zero that says, hey, your fast is complete. Go eat something. So that's really great. And you can choose what length of fast you want to do. So if you're crazy and you want to do a 48-hour fast, which if you saw my YouTube video about that, you'll know I've done that. And that was crazy. And I don't know why I would ever want to do that again. But my typical daily fast is a 16 and 8. So 16 hours off, 8 hours on of eating. So Zero is very useful, and it's a beautiful app too. It's really nice for a timing app. The last two are just kind of rando. The first one is Babble. Babble is the new app that I'm loving for learning a foreign language. If I haven't said Italy enough in this show, we should have made it a drinking game. But obviously, I'm a little bit more excited about learning more Italian. There were quite a few family members that I could not have conversations with while we were in Italy that, of course, Vin was able to talk to, which was really cool. And so we're taking that a little bit more seriously. He's trying to take it more seriously himself, becoming even more fluent than he is. And I don't know how you measure fluency, but that's kind of where I said that statement. I don't know what it means, but I'm not fluent at all. Buongiorno, that's where we're at. So I need him to talk to me more in Italian. And I also need an app to teach me a lot of the basics. I learned about Babble and I'm finding that it is a very good app. I've also been a fan of Duolingo in the past, but for some reason I've been sticking with Babble in recent years. And in recent years, I mean, every once in a while I open it and I pretend like I'm learning a language. And now I'm going to take it much more seriously. But it is the favored at this point. And finally, a very important app, something we take advantage of all the time, dark sky. The weather, it's always changing. You never know when you're going to need an umbrella. You also never know when you are definitely going to need a lot more sunscreen, more diligency with the sunscreen. Dark sky is great because it's going to give you advance warning of when it's about to rain. And it's going to let you know when the rain's going to stop. And it's going to let you know of other inclement weather, which is awesome. I love it on my Apple Watch. It pings my Apple Watch if it's about to rain or if there's something else going on that I need to know about. But I also love that in this summer, it's been saying, hey, the UV level is like a 9. So you better put some sunscreen on. And I'm like, preach, dark sky, preach. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you for telling the world what I have been trying to tell them, to put sunscreen on. So I really recommend that app. There's obviously a lot of great weather apps, but this one has a specific purpose of just letting you know when inclement weather is happening. It's a very basic looking app, but the notifications are what make it fantastic. Those are my favorite online tools and apps I'm loving and using basically every day. I would love to hear which ones are working awesome for you. Please go to the latest Instagram photo on the Instagram account at Details Podcast. Let me know what app you are living for lately, or just let me know which one you're going to download because of this show. I would love to see your face show up in those comments. And if you would like more advice straight to your earbuds, maybe you can get some simple steps for living your best life every day. I want to send you my free audio training. It's the 7 essential details for going after the life that you want. If you'd like to receive this audiogram, subscribe to the podcast, take a screenshot to show that you have subscribed, and then email that screenshot to hello@detailspodcast.com with audiogram please in the subject line, and I'll get that right over to you. If you want to take your morning routine to the next level, you can also join Shine Squad. That's at patreon.com/Shine Squad. There's a few different levels there, a few different perks. Check it out. We're having a great time. It's that self-improvement sorority you've always needed in your life. And then make sure you check out The Coffee with Lion's Mane and Chaga at Four Sigmatic. The link is in the show notes at detailspodcast.com. But if you want to go straight there, it's foursigmatic.com/detail therapy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. If you would like to discover even more actionable details, head over to AMYTV by typing in your browser, youtube.com/AMYTV, or you can search for Amy Landino in your YouTube app. Subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life that you want. Cheers.